Piemonte. We do indeed have a passion for Piemonte. And why not? Food and wine reaches its synergistic apex in Piedmont. Boom. What? That's right. Off the top, bro. That was not written. That was. Thank you. That was off the top. That was straight up. Just, man. Anywho, one of our favorite off-the-radar producers in Piedmont, because the deal with Piemontese wines, with Barbaresco, with Barolo, with Barbera, these grape varieties, etc., their reputation here in America was built on their run, right? The scores, the press, Robert Parker saying, oh, if you don't drink this thermonuclear fruit bomb of a Barolo, you're an idiot, you know? And I get it, and those are great wines. Brilliant wines, right? Press really carried the day with regards to a lot of the top Piemontese producers. Roberto Contino, Giacomo Conterno. I don't know if Monfortino would be $600 a bottle if it didn't get 100 points every other year, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. Is it a hell of a wine? Yes. I've tasted with Roberto Contino at the winery. Religious experience, it's like going to church. You know, it really is. It's beautiful. I love Piedmont. I love getting there. I love eating there. 72 hours is all you need, because between the brilliant food and the brilliant wine and the richness and intensity of it all, you will turn into a pumpkin if you attempt to do a fourth day in Piemonte. That's my advice to you. Beyond that, while you're there, if you're there, or if you're here at the store, you may want to drink this wine. Absolutely stunning. This is from the Forville family. So Forville, super Italian name, right? Like Jones, like total Italian name, right? Well, the Forville family came from Belgium, emigrated to Piemonte in the 1840s, if memory serves, 1848, does that sound right? And then started, got into the business in the 1860s. They've been there a while. This is an established family in Barbaresco. They're in the commune of Barbaresco. They own some great dirt in Barbaresco. Classic wines here. Now, I'll be honest and say, you know, we don't buy the Forville family wines every year. I think the wines are super transparent. I think they're they're shaped by their vintage. So in a not so great year, the Forville wines may reflect the coolness of the vintage, but in great years, in warm years, in delightful years, these wines are unbeatable for the money. And, you know, equate them to, like, for you super wine geeks out there, and I know some of you are watching this, think of like the Rieslings from the Merkelbach brothers, the Merkelbach wines, and that's kind of what you get here. When there's a great vintage, the wines completely hammer, such as it is in 2020. Now, they own vineyards in one of the top crus in Barbaresco, the Cru Loretto, which some of you might have seen from the wines of like the Albino Rocca winery and a couple others. Loretto is one of the top crus in Barbaresco, hands down. And they own a really nice chunk of it. 40-plus-year-old vines here. So we have great vine age. We have classic vinification, Botte Grande, you know, like the big barrels, no new oak. This isn't roto-fermented. This isn't aged in new fancy truncated concrete vats or anything like that. This is classic 100% Nebbiolo from one of the best vineyards in Barbaresco in a great vintage. And when we tried this wine, still floored. When Nebbiolo, like when the Nebbiolo gets that silky tannin, that's when like the game changes. You know what I'm saying? That's when, like, sure, Nebbiolo has tannin. The skin's very full of polyphenols. Not a lot of color, but tons of polyphenols, tons of tannin. So when you make these wines, you have to be super careful, or else they can be super tannic and bite you on the ass. This wine has just this beautiful silky tannin, which it almost does like does not compute. Like, it freaks you out a little bit. when you taste the wine because of the supple nature of this Barbaresco. Now, Barbaresco is the queen, the Barolo's king. You know, people talk about that, and that's kind of like the mantra for these wines. But in this case, it really is. This is beautiful, elegant Nebbiolo with super silky tannins. I literally don't know how they did it. We've been tasting the Forville wines for 20 years and 25 years. And this is to me the greatest wine I've ever tasted from Forville, and which is saying a lot because you guys always deliver value. They always deliver a tasty wine, but this is next level, and it makes you want to like do the dance, right? Because when you got next level, and you have these prices. Because a lot of years, you're not expecting next level from Forville because they make like these great yeoman Barbaresco wines at super reasonable prices that you're like, okay, I mean, sure, this wine isn't as good as Bruno Giacosa, but it's so-and-so dollars, so yeah, I'm gonna take a swing. I mean, these wines are by the glass at some of the top restaurants in America because of the quality-price ratio here. And when you get this wine at this level in 2020, which is a great warm vintage for Nebbiolo, you got magic. I mean, okay, rewind. You know, Prototorino Barbaresco now is like a $40 bottle of wine. That was the icon, to me, that was the icon value wine in Barbaresco. That's changed, at least this year. The Forville Loretto single cru Barbaresco 2020 is like $32. This wine at this price is comical, laughably high quality for the money. And each time I tried, it's that same experience, right? Like I've had it twice before and just opened it now. And the other two times it was like, oh, Jesus. And again, like you open it and you pour it and you're, oh, Jesus, this wine's banging. And such as it is, you know, a lot of times, not necessarily great wines, but just great bottles. And in this case, the Forville Loretto 2020 Barbaresco is one of the greatest bottles of Nebbiolo I've tasted in the past year, under 40 bucks. Hands down. Do yourself a favor, don't look at scores. You don't need them. It's not required in this instance. Just buy a bunch of this way.